Everybody, welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Desmond, and welcome to today's show. It is going to be an amazing show, man. You know, it's because I have a guest on today, and me and a good friend of mine, Alee Okan, we had a really good conversation earlier, and this is a pre-recorded conversation, by the way, but it tells a lot of stories about her. She's an artist, and you know she's been painting a lot of extraterrestrials, UFOs, things like that. But we'll get into her story here in just a minute. I want to welcome you to everybody out there to Alien Strand Podcast. Listening to us on many platforms. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Castbox, Amazon Music, Podbean, you name it, man. We're everywhere. We're all over the place, you know, because it's important for you guys to listen to this content, you know, and I know we don't go on very often, but thank you guys that's still out there, still listening to the show and still enjoying all the content out there. Now, don't forget, you can find us on YouTube as well. Go to our YouTube page and go to our Patreon page. Yes, that's the one. Patreon. It's free. Join for free there on Patreon. You'll see the link right here after this podcast. It's going to say all my links. If you want to follow Alien Strand, click on that. It'll take you to our YouTube. It'll take you to our TikTok. It'll take you all over the place on Facebook. All kinds of, you know, good stuff. Even Skylight TV. You know, that's still out there. We still have that out there. It's playing 24 hours, 7 days a week, all day, all night. So be looking for Skylight Television. You'll see the link to that as well. You know, you can watch a lot of extraterrestrial UFOs, documentaries. Everything's on that channel. We still have that as well. And thank you everybody for following on the audio podcasting as well as the video podcasting. We are on Rumble, Facebook at times. We are live on X as well. When we do go live now on the video podcast, we're going to have one here pretty soon. I believe we're going to try to get myself, we're going to get Mighty Soul, and we're going to get Alee on this one, on this next one, on a video podcast, so we can show you some more video footage and photos and everything that they have. You know, I think those are important to watch the video podcast, only because they have a lot of you know, presentations, you know, pictures, videos, things like that, so we can analyze, you know, as we go. But, you know, today's podcast, you know, it's going to be a very important one. She's been wanting to get a lot of this off her chest for a very long time. Like I said, she's an artist. You know, I first met her, she's out there in the New York City area. You know, we met through Facebook, of course, and she started telling me a lot of her stories, you know, things that were happening. But we weren't able to get a podcast on back in those days, back last year, so we decided to go ahead and do when she was ready. She said, when I'm ready, I'm going to go on. I said, okay, here we go. So we were able to do a podcast, and she was able to give a lot of information on things that happened to her. And, of course, I get to talk a lot about it as well. And we get to put a lot of nice things together on this amazing conversation. You guys got to hear this one. So stick around and listen to this great, wonderful conversation I have with her. We'll go ahead and put it on now so I can stop rambling. But I hope you guys really enjoy this podcast, right? If you do like this podcast, give us a thumbs up, share it, go to our YouTube, hit the little bell there, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We still have the middle there for free. You can still watch it there as well as Tubi TV, all over the place. You can still see the middle, Amazon, everywhere like that. Middle 2 is out there as well, and we're working on getting the middle 3 on Amazon. It's already on the last leg to get it up, okay? It's been taking a little while, but it's just these platforms. They just work this way to where you have to do, you know, dot the dots, cross the T's. It is what it is, and we'll get that going. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy this podcast, and here we go. Listen up to this great conversation. All right. I want to introduce Alee Okan to the show. She's going to tell us her cool story that she's been going through for many years, and how everything's going to kind of coincide together with extraterrestrial visitation and things like that. So, Alee, are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yay. Thank you for being on the show. And I think I was talking to you just a minute ago how I did set something up earlier, last year, I believe, and we didn't get to go through it, but it's okay. Today, we're actually going to go ahead and bring the whole story out for you, for everybody to listen to and to understand what unfolded in your life. So let's start from the very beginning. All right. If people don't know you or out there, which they probably don't right now, but they will after this show's over. But what is it that you do right now?
Well, right now, I do my art, and I seem to have a gift of painting events before they happen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm just doing my artwork right now and trying to get the website going, and trying to make sense of fragments of my life that I'm sure others are, they go through the same thing. It's kind of hard to put a timeline together when you have bits and pieces here and there. And, this has been going on since I've been young.
Wow. About how early in life did this start for you?
Well, I ran into a friend, my father's best friend's son, who lived next door, and I ran into him on Facebook, and it'd been years since I talked to him, and he used to babysit me.
Right.
So I was a baby at the time, and I had asked him if he believed in UFOs, and he goes, "Well, Amy, Alee, if I do believe in UFOs because there was a UFO in our backyard when we woke up in the middle of the night. I had thought I heard, he said it sounded like a bunch of sewing machines in a room."
Oh, wow.
And so he got curious and looked out the window, and there was a big UFO in our backyard.
Oh, wow.
He woke his parents up, showed his parents, and he called my father the next day and told them, and then it was never heard of ever since then. So,
did he say how big this craft was? I mean, how big he thought he saw or anything like that?
No, he didn't really get into the details of it. It was just kind of like just a brief conversation, which is kind of like, it's funny to talk to people, when they have an experience. They're afraid to talk about it because people won't believe them.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
So, no, he really didn't get into it too much. So, I just, for right now, doing, having flashbacks, shall I say, of certain things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just putting things together slowly. It's really intense. So, let's see. So that was probably about I was probably about a baby when that happened.
Okay.
So later on, my father used to work for GM for 25 years, and his brother, who is his sidekick, who was a general in the Air Force, he became mixed up with his brother and the CIA and such. And so as a kid, we always moved. We never stayed in one spot, so it was really hard to find friends.
Wow.
So, and I just remember as a kid, my mom would tell me this crazy story. Apparently, she woke up one morning and found that I wasn't in my crib, and she called the cops, and I was like 4 blocks down the road playing in a sandbox in a snowsuit, and it's like 80 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So like those, like little things like that, I'm kind of just stuck in my head all these years, where maybe something did pick me up and dropped me back off, in the wrong spot,
right.
Which I've heard that's happened before.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There is. Let's take you back just a minute, because we were talking about that UFO that was in your yard, right? So, what general area was this? What state, or where were you at?
This was in Michigan, in Troy, Michigan.
Troy, Michigan. Okay. Now I got an idea where we're at. Okay. So, do you think at that point that what your neighbors saw was possibly the beginning traces or beginning parts of what was happening to you as a infant, and to where now you are at 4 months old or 5, and then you're out there 4 blocks away, and people don't know how that happened, right? So do you think that's the beginning where that started?
I think it was. I really think it was. Also, when I was younger, I couldn't articulate the words as I was 5 years old, and I saw my dead grandmother in the stairway of my grandma's house. It was my great-grandma that died, and I knew she was dead, but, at 5 years old, how can you explain that you just saw a ghost? But it really didn't even look like a ghost. I mean, it just looked like a person standing there.
Right.
So, so I think like at that, growing up during those times, like I had significant things that happened to me that made me believe that, what's going on as of today, still seeing things and having a lot of interesting experiences.
Did you, as you were growing up and you're seeing these things, are you understanding what you're seeing at the moments or at every encounter or contact, or you're just kind of going with the flow, thinking that it's a normal, everyday process that's happening to you, or not every day, or just when it does happen, it's just normal to you?
Well, I guess you can say that I'm waking up from it. But my last encounter really freaked me out.
Okay.
And this happened like about 4 years ago. And I know I'm jumping around to different times, but this really bothered me as I was in the car. I'm coming home from a Viking festival at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we get on the highway, and I'm with my stepson and my ex-husband, and I'm talking to my stepson, and I turn around and look, and we weren't even on the road for like maybe 10 minutes, and I see a sign that says Ulster, and we're coming from Troy, New York,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, wait a minute, we got to turn around. We're going to the city. And I looked, right when I looked, I saw across the highway there was 2 TikTok UFOs side by side above the tree line. And I looked down back at the clock, and we had missed an hour and a half out of our time, and all our gas was gone. And none of us remember anything. And I'm completely freaked out.
Oh, wow.
But 2 weeks prior to that, I did take photographs of the TikToks that were in the sky at my girlfriend's house.
Uh-huh.
So something, I don't know. I don't remember anything. That's what creeps me out. It's like, why are they erasing our memory? What happened?
Right. And we're still, everybody's always trying to figure that out and why they keep doing that. But excuse me, maybe it's because what you're seeing or what you're experiencing is way too traumatic for some folks. And maybe they do that so that way you don't have to experience the trauma. So, because there are some extraterrestrials out there that are going to be just doing things to human beings that they think it's normal because they have no feelings. Okay. It was one thing about extraterrestrials. Whatever species it is, most of the grays, they have no feelings. It's just, that's why you always see the blank stare, or it's just the big eyes. They show no emotion because whatever they're doing, they don't think what they're doing is wrong. So, but to us, it's more terrifying, right? So this is my personal opinion, but I think that this is why in a sense, you gotta think about it this way too. Maybe it's kind enough for them to do that to us, so we don't have to remember because they know it's traumatic, right? And maybe it's, for some people, it's too over traumatic to where it gives you the post-traumatic stress disorder, and then it puts you in a different state of mind. So maybe they don't want you to be in a different state of mind. Maybe they just want you to remember some things, and then you get some gifts of the awakening, right? Which you started getting already, right? As far as it was unfolding in front of you, seeing things or painting things that were about to happen, right? So that's pretty much where you're at right there, right?
Yes. I painted COVID several years before COVID even came out. And I guess it's like my hand has its own brain, separate from my own. Like maybe I'm channeling something I'm not quite aware of yet.
Yeah.
So, but when it comes to erasing memories, and especially if you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, that could be even more of a trigger. That could even, to me anyways, I want to remember. I don't not want to remember.
Right.
I think that makes me more upset, because if they woke me up to see those tic-tac-looking shaped UFOs, they want me to remember something, right?
Right. Yep. And I think maybe they do that so that way you can know why things are happening to you, as far as like knowing what you're seeing or things that are unfolding with your hand. Like you said, it's got a mind of its own when you're painting. I mean, I've seen your paintings. They're beautiful paintings, and they're very artistic. They're very artistic, but there's so much realism in each one of those paintings. So, and it does tell a story of something that has happened or something that you've seen. Because of course you and I have been talking for a good year and a half or so, something like that, maybe longer. But it's because, I understand where you're at, and I see what you're doing. And as far as the paintings and you're putting your art out there so people can understand it a little bit better. Now, do you think that why you're painting, what you're painting is to make people understand, or you're just thinking that this is just a memory or something that's telling me to do this so people can see this?
I honestly don't even know what I'm painting when I start. I just start and it just comes out. Like, I don't have a plan ever. I just paint. I just start painting.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm self-taught. It's really hard in this industry to be an artist.
Yes.
To be one of a kind, and to have people follow you, and hopefully I'll do something before I pass away.
Well, I mean, you've already made an impact. I've seen like some of your shows that you have, but it's whatever you're doing, you're on the right track. I see it. And as strange as people think it is, there's a lot of people out there, of course, in audio land and everywhere out there, even just people out there still trying to understand extraterrestrials. I mean, we see videos and everything of UFOs all day long, right? But we never get to understand the contact, right? So, and you have had contact, whether you were a child or whether they're keeping track of you as a child up to where you are today. And maybe they're that's what they're doing. They're just keeping track of you, because, maybe you're helping in that situation to have people understand and have that awakening moment as well. Just even by looking at a painting and understanding what they're seeing sometimes, and then things that are unfolding before it even happens to you. It's like, having some kind of intuitiveness a little bit more out there. Right. So do you feel like you're connected a little bit more, almost, I hate to say it this way, but almost like to the universe or to the cosmos, in a sense, to where all the positives are out there, right? Let's just say like you're seeing plus marks everywhere, positive, and then you're attracted to that positive, and it connects to you, but it's all over the earth. It's all over everything, right? Is it easier for you to understand things more as far as like the unknown, things that happen to other people, as far as extraterrestrials, UFOs, things like that, or just understanding life itself? Is that something easier that kind of comes to you, like in a normal sense?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, after all these experiences, I believe the universe is trying to talk to me, because I have a thing with numbers, and I paint numbers a lot of the time. Yeah. I started seeing 9/11 before 9/11 happened, and I kept on seeing it more and more and more and more, and then it just got really intense, and then 9/11 happened.
Right.
And like when I see certain numbers, and like I started seeing these sequences of numbers, I immediately changed all my clocks to see, am I going crazy, or like, what am I seeing here? And I was still seeing the numbers after I changed the clocks. So it wasn't just, it wasn't just a coincidence.
Right.
I believe the universe is definitely talking to me, or talking with me.
Yeah, I believe so too. Hey, let's take a quick couple of minutes here so we can pay the bills. Take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay.
All righty.
Cold glass on the window, moon caught in a crooked frame. I blink and the room folds inward. All the colors forget their names. Hands pinned to the ceiling, my body on the bedroom floor. They pull me through my own reflection, like I've been here before. Take me, black sky carousel turning. Show me every burned out star, every city quietly burning. If this is the future.
Alien Strand Podcast.
Steel rain over playgrounds, children made of dotted lines, billboards teaching perfect silence, churches selling second lies. I see oceans made of data, whales of code that never sing, sky stitched up with silver highways, crowds.
All right, welcome back to the show. So we're talking about all of Alee's experiences, and how it's connected with her to the universe, and how it tells her or it's given her a little bit of signs of what's to come, especially when we're talking about 9/11. Now, has there been any other sequences that have come to you before you see it or before it happens? Like, is it like a close timeline, or is it like a long timeline?
It seems like it's this long, dragged out timeline that's slowly making sense. But, when it comes to my experience and what had happened to me, time doesn't matter. When I got home from my experience, I did call MUFON and I did ask them what happened. They said that it was suspended time.
Right.
So whatever happened, I was in suspension while everything else was going around. So is that a timeline? Kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've
they can control the time and they can control things like that.
Right.
Are we in the simulation and we're waking up to it?
Well, think about it. Think about it this way too. All right. So you know how when we see, of course, us with Alien Strand Disclosure Project and all the family that we talk amongst each other, when we see a UFO or somebody posted out there or something up close, or the real ones, right? We always break it down in a sense to where you can see the electronic magnetic field around this craft, right? It's that little bubble that's in that craft, right? Now we're starting to understand more that bubble, that electronic magnetic field that's around that craft, which is making the craft move left, right, up, down, in these speeds that we don't understand. That inside of that bubble, there is no time, there is nothing. So it's able to move past all that. So what I'm trying to say here is that maybe when they take you or any human on board inside that craft, there is no time. So it's in a sense, it stands still for you as being in that whatever bubble dimension, but your clocks are still running and your car's still running, right? Because I talked to this gentleman also who lives around the New York area, who called me about 6 months ago. I never forget this phone call. And he was telling me about what happened to him. And he says, man, I don't understand. We had like about 45-minute conversation, and I can't remember his name, but he called me through the Alien Strand hotline, right? And he just told me, look, I don't understand what happened to me, but I was in my car, I was driving at night, and I see this craft next to me. I'm going across this bridge, and I see a bunch of fog around my car, and I'm driving in the car, and all I see is fog now. I can't see the bridge. I can't see nothing. He says, I think they took me inside my whole car with myself inside this craft. He said, because my car was still running. He goes, and when I got back to the other side, my car was almost empty, but it seemed like just a minute or two.
Yes.
And my car, that's what he told me. He goes, and I don't understand how that happened. He goes, but I could see the ETs walking around the fog while I'm sitting here thinking I'm driving my car and it's not going anywhere, but it looks like I am. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh my God.
So that, when he told me that story, I was like, wait a minute, that's something that, I mean, I've talked to people before about, but when he told it to me in that sense, it kind of made sense now how there is no time, but things that are mechanical are still going, right? In a sense, right? But us as human beings, life or anything like that is not. It's just standing still, which is strange, right? So I maybe that's what happened to you guys as well.
Yeah. Well, and New York is a real hot spot for UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
Like Whitley Strieber even was in the Catskills, which I'm in the foothills of the Catskills.
Ah.
And we see stuff. Yeah, we see stuff all the time. I've been photographing UFOs in the sky for probably about 13 years now.
Wow.
So I think that, yeah. And, people think that I'm strange in town, but I'm not here to convince anybody. I have my experiences, and that's, if they want to come forward and talk about it, that's great. Because there's so many people that do have these experiences and are even afraid to even talk about it. I even had been afraid to talk about it for a long time because I was afraid of what people thought of me.
Yeah.
And at this point, now that the government is starting to have slow disclosure,
yeah,
I think that a lot of people will be coming forward. Now, the thing that gets me too is if the government had exchanged technology for humans, they should have some kind of accountability or responsibility to take care of those people because, not everybody can deal with those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's more people out there that just won't even talk about their experience. And, eventually that'll lead to panic attacks when you stuff things down that are traumatic. It ends up coming out one way or another.
And the thing is, we don't know who these people are. You know what I mean? And they could just use anybody that's in the industrial military complex. They could use somebody that wants to be a volunteer of this kind of stuff, right? And I believe it did happen before. And excuse me, this is what we're talking about when you saw the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? When you see it at the very end scene of the UFO coming down on top of that mountain, they did an exchange. They brought people back and they took people at the very end, right? So,
yeah.
And he got that story from a real story that happened that they talked about. Not that it happened like on top of that mountain or anything like that, but it did happen in that kind of way. And that was the realism of that film. And the thing is, we don't know who these people are. That's the thing. And I don't know if we'll ever know. And if we do know, it's kind of hard for them to even come out and say anything like that, right? Because of course they're going to be afraid for their lives.
Yeah. I mean, last August I was at Devil's Tower, and, my boyfriend and I had a real cool experience. We went to go look at the stars at nighttime, and it was completely pitch black, and we were next to the Devil's Tower in the parking lot looking up at the stars, and we must have seen probably about a fleet of UFOs going across the sky.
Wow.
In different forms, like 4 together,
right,
side by side, and then 2, and then a couple more, and it looked like Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, wow.
It was really intense. But anytime that I am with somebody, they do end up seeing UFOs with me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
that's nice, though.
Yeah,
that's nice, though, because I think personally, it's like if they see them with you, they know you're not nuts, right? They're seeing the same thing that you're seeing, right? It's just like my last movie that I put together. Nobody's seen it yet, but there's a part in there where Jodie's boyfriend is saying, Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Am I going crazy here? Am I high? You know what I'm saying? He says, am I seeing the same thing you're, and he's saying that in the video because they're seeing this ball of light right in front of him. Right. And he's freaking out, and it happened a lot around her. Right. She was the contactee. So, and
the conduit.
Yeah. There you go. The antenna. Right. And so he was the one that was witnessing everything, but I think it was a little too much for him, to tell you the truth, after a while, because he left the scene after a while. But, it's some people can take it. Some people can't. But the good thing is about you is that when you have somebody with you and they get to see that, man, that's awesome, because they're witnessing what you have been experiencing all your life.
Yes. I mean, well, can I? Is it okay if I go back?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
When I was
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm adopted, so I was supposed to be adopted immediately into my family, and I was in the foster care for 8 months. Mm-hmm. My mom just gave me the papers like about 6 years ago, and there are no names of who took care of me, no names of the doctors. And you'd think, if I was there for 8 months that I'd have names, that I'd know, but there wasn't anything like that. Wow. The government knew that I also am O negative with naturally auburn hair. And I started Googling. By the time I was pregnant with my third child, I started Googling RH negative to see why are they making a big deal about being RH negative. Mm-hmm. They said I'm high risk. Come to find out, rhesus negatives are mostly the ones that are being abducted.
Yes.
Which I'm wondering if they're interested in the DNA of our family.
Well,
which might make sense.
It's pure. I think it's pure. And I just think that look, I mean, I've said this over. I've even tried to wrap my own mind around it many times. And I always think to myself, and I ask all my guests too, is like, where do you think we came from? You know what I mean? What really in reality, where do you think it all started? How did we get here? And because they're starting to find bones and skulls 300, 500,000 years old now.
Yeah.
It's not it's not 3,000, it's not 10,000, it's 500,000, almost to 1 billion years old. They're finding, remains of humanistic looking people, right? So, and I'm thinking maybe there were civilizations way, way before us that were here, but what brought us here and who brought us here, right? Or where did we come from? And I think that RH negative, that bloodline is the original bloodline of the original ancestry of human beings.
Anunnaki?
Maybe,
really? Oh.
Maybe, but of human beings, because they say that our DNA strand is how did it say it? It's 9 billion years old.
Amazing.
Something like that. Yeah, 9 billion. And the Earth is only 3 billion. So how does that happen? How does that happen?
Did we come from another planet?
Exactly.
See, that's my take, that they had taken DNA from each race of humans and planted us here. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we still, till this day, cannot get along.
Yeah. Yeah, because people are just stupid sometimes, that we just act the fool, and then we let things get to us. And really, in reality, it's just like they say, we all bleed red, right? Regardless, I don't care what color or whatever you are. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to anybody. It's just, we're all the same. But what you're saying is the RH negative. It's a special blend, right? It's a special kind of bloodline. Yeah. And I think that's why it's hard for people that are RH negative to have children. They can't. They have to now these days. Now they can get the shot, and they can actually have children now, and it helps. But if you're RH negative and your partner's RH negative, well, you can have a child. But if he's the opposite, you can't. So and that's the strangeness of that of having a child. But I think it's because it kicks it out. It kicks it away for some reason, almost like I'm not. It's like your bloodline's not worthy of us because we're like the God, the God particle or something, in my brain. This is my brain thinking. And then it kicks out the other bloodline because it doesn't mix. It doesn't go with it. But, and maybe that bloodline is special of some sort, right? And And people that have it usually have green eyes, and those are the ones that get abducted most of the time. And it's strange because when the extraterrestrials abduct women that have Rh negative, they always say that they take their eggs, right? So
Yeah.
and they're able to make other human beings, right, from that. So that kind of gets you weirded out on extraterrestrials. Like, what are they doing? And
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean, because like when I ended up getting pregnant with triplets.
Oh wow!
And I was like 25 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just had my 6-month ultrasound. I found that there was 2 in the one bag and 1 by itself. And it was just almost 7 months, just about almost 7 months. And I had, in what seemed to be a nightmare, I woke up and I thought, that there was smoke around the room. And then next thing I know, I'm on this table. And these 3 ant beings are on the right side of me. And it was really weird because I was really calm. It's like almost like I knew them or something. I was just calm and relaxed. And then all of a sudden this big, tall mantis thing looks down at me, and I could see its skin. It looked like a cowfish, if you're familiar with saltwater fish. Mm-hmm. It looked like a cowfish. It was like a luminescent type of skin, and the heart you could see through his or her chest. You could see a light emanating from its chest, and I immediately got scared and screamed. And next thing I know, I'm in my bed. It scared the crap out of me so badly. I started reading verses out of the Bible because I was so scared.
Right.
Well, I ended up within a 2-week period of having bleeding, and then I miscarried them. I went to the hospital with them in my hands, and I was hemorrhaging so bad. They told me that the other one, that my body absorbed the other one.
Oh, wow.
So I had 2 babies in my hand, and they said my body absorbed it, which I don't know how in 2 weeks a body could absorb anything like that.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah. It's just.
Oh, well, it's okay. I mean, things happen for a reason, and maybe I have a baby out there that's, up there, or maybe have more. So so that's another thing that happened to me when I was younger. So during this, the timeline here, things just started making sense to me as of recently.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, well, I've known you for a year now,
right,
and told you some of the things that happened to me. Right. But meeting others and talking to others is so important for all of us, because we don't have anybody. We really don't.
No, we don't. It's that's why we like to talk here, and we'd like to say that not just Alien Strand, but just a lot of other podcasters out there, people that are real. We become the voice of the voiceless, like you're doing right now. You become the voice of the voiceless, because some people have actually gone through a lot of this as well, and they're just afraid to talk about it, or maybe they're happy to hear somebody that's out there that has been experiencing the same thing, so they don't feel alone. That's what I just think sometimes.
Yeah, and I also think that the paranormal and this alien contact, I think it coincides together. I really think that there's something to it. I was living with my ex-husband, and his house was really, really haunted. And one night I woke up, or he woke up first, actually, and he thought that the room was on fire. It was an orange smoke that was in the room, and he could not move. He was paralyzed. He could not talk. He could not move.
Oh, wow.
I woke up immediately, like seconds after he woke up. I don't know what woke me up, but there was something on me. It was like a shadow being type of thing on me, pressing on my chest, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything until I finally let a scream out, and then everything disappeared.
Wow.
And it took 7 years for my ex-husband to even say anything about it.
Wow. So he was watching this unfold in front of him. In other words, both of you guys were awake.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have 2 ex-husbands, and they both went through experiences with me.
Wow. Wow. Kind of spooky. But, it
is.
Y'all had paralysis,
Yeah, I mean, how can it be sleep paralysis if there's 2 people at the same time having it?
Having the same experience, right? And that,
it's not sleep paralysis.
Somebody told me that before too. I had some of the guests on, and they both told me the same thing, and they were both experiencing the same thing, and that's the strangeness of that weirdness, man. Let's take a quick couple of minutes here, take a break, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay?
Thank you.
Flute in the dark, chimes on a string, something watching. Shapes in the daylight, parked up in the clouds above town. Metal in the sunshine, then the thunder rolls them back down. I swear I saw windows, eyes behind the vapor and rain. I blink and it's normal.
Alien Strand Podcast.
Back to the show. Hope everybody's enjoying today's content with Alee, and we were just talking about how paranormal and extraterrestrial contact are almost they kind of coincide with each other, and it feels a little eerie at times. So we were talking about how you experience with your partner as you were both having paralysis and both experiencing the same thing. Well, not just one partner, but another partner too later in life, and that's the strangeness how it things do attach themselves to you. Do you feel that way?
I absolutely feel that way. Yes, I absolutely feel that way. Even like experiences will follow you. And if you're psychic like me, things will follow you to talk to you, to try and communicate with you. And you gotta put the wall up sometimes because it gets a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you a paranormal thing that did happen to me last year. We went to Mexico City.
Okay.
And I love picking up rocks. And anyways, I was fighting with myself the whole time. Do not pick up a rock, Amy. Don't pick up a rock. I didn't pick up a rock. I did not pick up a rock the whole time. I was so proud of myself. And I get out into the parking lot, and I was like, what harm is it going to do just to take one little piece of lava rock that's in the parking lot?
Yeah.
So I pick up a little lava rock, thinking, oh, it's not a big deal. It was out of the space that we were in.
Uh-huh.
So we get back to our Airbnb, and I go to empty out my bag, and there are 2 rocks, not one, but there's 2 rocks in my pocket or my bag. I was like, I looked at my boyfriend and I said, I didn't pick up 2 rocks. I was sitting there the whole time trying to fight with myself about this. And it was a completely different rock. Like, it looked like a meteorite that ended up in my pocket or ended up in my pocketbook.
Wow.
And I didn't put it there.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So those are the things. Like, those are the things that happened to me. That's like, geez, like, how the hell did that happen?
Well, maybe your spirit guide that's with you just said, you know what? You need this rock. Let me go ahead and put this in your pocket when you're not looking. It's a possibility. It's strangeness as it is. But that's weird. That is a weird thing right there.
Yeah. It was strange, and there was things happening to us too. On top of it, it was like bad luck. It was like that episode of the Brady Bunch where Peter Brady finds that tiki.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually had a part 1 and a part 2. I remember that one. We were waiting next week to see what happened to Greg as he fell off the surfboard.
Whatever you do not pick up any tikis.
Yeah. the bad luck. Oh my God.
So I ended up leaving that rock in the Airbnb because I didn't want no part of it.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Oh, 100%. Wow. That is hilarious. That's crazy though. But you have to think about those things sometimes like that. That's the strangeness about that, especially in the world that we live in, right? In this world, because everything counts, it's like everything you do or say or whatever, it counts, even like you said, like even picking up a rock or who picked it up before you, or it could have been something, part of some sort of ritual and you don't even know and you're bringing it home, and that's the part where everything's all kind of connected in a sense.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, there's just so much in life that a lot of people just ignore and overlook. But when, you have experiences, it seems like it sets you apart different from other people. And it gets kind of lonely because, if you don't have people to talk to about this and, people think that you're crazy or whatever. But, as much as our own government even gaslighted us about the whole thing, and still is till this day, that there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, and like I said on the podcast, even before this one, they're not going to give us any straight answers, just like NASA, right? So it's never any straight answers. It's not. They're not going to do that. It's not, because it's a security issue for one. And if everything is a security issue, because whatever they found, or even if they found craft or even reverse technology, anything like that, it's going to be a security issue, and to where I have to have it and you can't have it, right? But
yeah,
and it's who's to say that they don't already have it? In other words, you think just the United States are the ones that has it? No, hell no. These things go down in Russia. These things go down in Brazil. These things go down in the Philippines. These things go down everywhere, right? So everybody has their own governments. That's a part of it. The thing about that one in Brazil, of that extraterrestrial, is the United States government got involved in that one. And they say that the United States government went and picked up that craft and the extraterrestrial. So, what's it called? Brahia or something like that. ET that keeps popping up everywhere. But the United States has their hands in everything as far as the extraterrestrial world. Why they nominated us, U.S., to be the number one, to be the principal of everything, I don't know. But it's the thing of trusting it. Anything that they have to say is we can't, because they're going to feed you a little bit of bites here and there. They're going to give you a little bit of the truth. That's about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to really tell you every single thing that has happened or everything that we have, because then what happens? We have nosy rosies out there, and we're probably going to be one of them. Well, what do you have? What is it that you have? And why don't you tell, because they might have the power, they might have something that just probably the size of your hand, they can probably power up the whole earth in 1 second, right? And they just don't want people to have that. It's too much.
Yeah. I mean, how much could we grow if we did have free energy and we did not have to be slaves? What would be the possibilities of humans advancing in other things?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah. And I think we can advance a lot more if we had free energy, or if we had, because it gets your mind off of those things that we think are so important to have. You don't have to think about that anymore. Now you have the power to make something better. And who's to say there's not an inventor out there or somebody that will put something together off of this free energy that we have and make it better, or make a flying car that really flies, not using propellers and things like that. You know what I mean? So, or just something that to get your mind off of these things. And it frees us up.
Yeah.
It frees your wallet up a lot more, gives you more freedom. Unfortunately, we know that we're under control. We allow it to happen to us because why? We don't pay our bills. What happens? They turn your crap off, right? You don't pay your taxes. What happens? They take your houses away, right? Before the 1900s, there was no taxes on everybody kept their checks in 1900s. I think it changed in 1903 or 1906, where people started paying taxes. So they had 100% of their checks, right? So just think about that. If you had energy that you didn't have to pay for anymore, you'd have more money in your pocket, right? So it frees up your mind a little bit more. You don't have to worry about things. But I think it would make us better as a society, and to be more giving to each other and to help one another a little bit more than having to worry about focusing on having to steal something to pay your electricity bill. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It definitely would be. It seems like the further we go into technology, the less human we are, and less human experiences we are having. So it's taking stuff, as much as the technology is wonderful for us, it also steals from us as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Static screen, blue glow on my face, redacted pages,
Alien Strand Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying today's content. Click a like, subscribe, share this podcast. Let's get back to the show. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. I mean, like if you're doing everything off grid, you know, you're living the life.
Exactly.
That other people just couldn't do because they just can't change. They can't see themselves living that life.
Yeah.
Because none of us know how to take care of each other.
Yeah.
We don't even know how to take care of ourselves.
Right.
So if we had an EMP, where would it set us?
Well, that would drive everybody nuts, first of all, because nothing would work. All electronics will die immediately. Your vehicle will not run. Phones, everything would go completely dead. Anything communicational will die. Anything electronic will die. Anything that works on power will die. So we would have to just sit there and look at each other and try to figure it out, right? And that's what an EMP will do. And if you're not some sort of survivalist or somebody that knows how to read which way the North Star is, things like that at night, you know, or just even know how to survive. If you're a survivalist, you'll make it. If you're not, you won't. And that's where the chaos will start. And just to be human and to experience, you know, I lived, you know, I'm an old dude, right? But I remember when there was no cell phones. I remember when we just had one telephone in the house. I remember when we had one TV. And what would people do back in the day? They'd come over here. They'd come, knock on your door. You'd have relatives come over. They sit there. They talk. They have coffee. The kids would play outside, you know, and it was more of an environmental, more human to human contact and having that connection with families. That's why families were much closer back in the day than they are today, you know, because once the technology came out, it took us away from that. And that's the unfortunate part. But when something forces you to go back into that, which is, you're talking about an EMP, a magnetic pulse that will take everything out like that, well, you don't have no choice after that, right? So we'd have to learn how to live and how to work together as a team or as a family or whatever, just to make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So during all this time when you're let's go back to you, where you're painting and everything, you know, have these extraterrestrials made any more contact with you here recently, or just showing themselves as far as Tic Tacs and things like that?
No, I have not had any contact other than what I see in the skies. What had happened to me 4 years ago, that I know of. But I just know that the more time goes by, I think my art is getting better.
Right.
With the experiences that I'm having. It's like I'm here to share what I've lived through and what I've seen and how these experiences shaped my art and my intuition and the way I understand reality.
Does it help you connect more with people in a more positive way, in a sense, to not just your paintings, but just your work and everything, how it's connected? Yeah,
I mean, I really feel like the arts and your brain, it actually is a healing thing for you, and healing for post-traumatic stress disorder. So if like these things happen to you, or if you're going through a post-traumatic stress disorder, please pick up a paintbrush or music or write or do anything that's a creative spark that will reconnect those neurons that fire off when you have a panic attack or when you go through your, triggers. So I found that art was a safe haven for me. And the more I do my art and the more expressive that art that I do, I think that it helps people open up conversation as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I've seen that how art changes people too, because if you remember Jim Carrey, right? He became an artist too later, through the years. But did you notice that once he became an artist, he separated himself for a little while there from the public eye once he stopped making films for a few years. And he just focused on painting, right? And he was making some beautiful art too, right? But when he came back to the light, to entertainment, or just to do some appearances, his thoughts of life and human beings had totally changed. He was more more loving. He was more acceptable to giving good advice for human to human contact, and telling people to love each other and be close to one another. And it was and he went through some traumatic stuff too. I believe he lost a wife, a fiance back in his earlier years, and something dark and traumatic happened to him. But then at the same time, once he did art, it changed him to be this, speaker of nothing but positiveness to everything and everybody, right? He speaks in colleges and through graduations and universities, right? And he does this big speech when they're graduating, and he tells people, how to be good people. And I think that art did that to him, and was able to change him into something that he understood a whole lot better, And I think that's what happened. Happened to you too. But in a sense, you're showing people through your art what had happened to you. But at the same time, people are learning to understand you, and you get to understand them as well. And then, of course, you said it's a good conversation starter, right? So you're talking to people about your painting and maybe what happened.
Yeah, once you start putting your art out there, especially when it's got UFOs and abductions and stuff in it, it definitely creates a conversation. Yeah. But it's good, though. It's good that we're talking about it, because if we're not talking about it, that's when we worry.
Yeah, that's true. Because you hold it in too long, right? And then you start to not understand it too much. But there's some people that can get very overwhelmed with it when they go too deep into that void of extraterrestrial and just looking and looking and looking. And don't get me wrong, there's people out there that have never experienced anything, and they're out, and I see them all the time on social media platforms. They're looking to see something. They're looking to find something. They're filming, and they're all over the place, but they don't experience anything, right? Because I think it's because what they're chasing after is something that hasn't been, it's not for them just at that moment. You know what I mean? So for you, it happened early as a child, right? As an infant. And it presented itself to you at an early age, and it wanted you to see everything, and it wanted you to experience everything, right? And for people that are chasing this dragon, some people don't, a lot of people I've noticed don't get to see these things. And if they do, they'll get maybe just a small glimpse, but they don't get to get the full experience like you did.
Well, and there's something. I think there's something to be said about that, because if there are like, I was watching a documentary about how we are all simultaneously having different realities happen. So let's say you don't believe in ghosts, and you're never going to have an experience because you don't believe in it.
Right.
So that's your reality. So what if there's like 5 different types of humans on this earth, and we're all having different experiences, but none of us could see what others are seeing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because, that would make sense of why people don't see things like this, because they're not having that experience. Maybe they're not even really seeing it at all.
Right. Exactly.
It's a heavy.
Well, because I've seen people, I've documented people that have, been on in front of my camera, and they say, my wife is looking at this UFO, but I can't see it, but she can see it. Or I can see it and they can't see it, right? And because it only shows itself to certain people. And
yeah. So screwed up.
Yeah.
And that would make sense on why people are just like, I don't believe in that stuff, because they're not having those experiences.
Right. Yep. That's true. And same thing with paranormal. Your people are out there experiencing it. And me personally, I believe that the extraterrestrials can walk in that dimension as with the paranormal, as with souls and spirits. I believe they can walk in that same dimension. It just kind of looks that way. They can mimic themselves to go into that realm and make it look like they're a ghost. Almost like manipulating, in a sense, to making you believe of what you're seeing or what you're not seeing. And
like a skinwalker?
Something like that. Because it changes forms, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah. And they're like, even like the orbs. One day I was outside and I saw what it looked to be like an orange orb, but it looked like a little mini moon in just above our town. And I immediately got on Facebook and I was like, did anybody see that? Did anybody see that? And my neighbor was taking a walk at that time. He saw the same thing. He's the head of the mental health clinic. Right. So it wasn't just some Joe Schmo.
Yeah, it's somebody.
Yeah, somebody that really saw it. Right. So, these like little things just, they add up, and eventually, there is something to it, the close encounters of the third kind. So there's like 1, 2, and 3. And the 3 is when you have full contact, right?
Yeah, and 4. So, and that's to have the third kind is like you're really right there. You're up close. You're communicating already. And when they can communicate with you, that's it right there. When you're saying flash your light at me or blink once or blink twice, and it does it. There you go. That's the communication.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that we're connected there, because my very first experience when I moved to New York, and I tell you the story really quick.
Go ahead.
My girlfriend and I were doing yoga, and she had this really big sliding glass door, and we were in the country, and I saw this orange orb slowly going across the sky, and it kept on getting brighter and brighter and brighter and dimmer and dimmer, and then I would thinking to myself, all right, go dimmer, to see if they would listen to me telepathically, and they did. And so it came up over my girlfriend's house. 3 orbs came out from the bottom and went across the street into another orb. And what I thought was only an hour that transpired, 4 or 5 hours went by, and I went back home and I got yelled at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I didn't even know at that time that what had happened, that I had lost time.
Wow.
So, like I'm saying, like I'm waking up to this slowly.
Wow. That is crazy. You know?
Yeah, just some of the stuff that's happened to me. And I know I probably screwed up your timeline.
No, it's like it's like a friend, like what you just experienced. Right? It's like a friend would tell me that time, if I could be a fly on the wall, you know, so they could see what happened, or you know what I mean. So it's kind of strange because these things do happen to people, and it's kind of hard to understand because if you haven't experienced that time loss like that, it's kind of hard to tell people what happened, and to not have that memory of those 5 hours, where did it go, what happened, and these, you know, it's kind of scary thing too, because it's like, you know, what happened, you know, I don't know what happened, but I remember from here to here. I just don't remember anything in between. It's almost like going under when you go under the knife, or they put you under, and you go out and then you're awake. It's like it seems like a second has passed by, but actually you've been out 3-4 hours, you know. And I think that's the way it is, to have that kind of feeling, I guess.
What was something that changed your life when you had an experience? What was the one thing that actually made you think, oh my gosh, there are things that are happening to me? Well, is there anything there?
It's just from the day that I saw my first one. Of course, everybody knows that at 14, right? I seen my first one. I was pulled in, but then after that, it's everything kind of goes blank for me, but I'm still in school, in middle school, and, you know, going through all the libraries and stuff like that, looking for books and of extraterrestrials and craft and everything. I'm just so pulled in, right? But at the same time, I'm having these, sometimes I would have visions of things, and then I would have, you know, a sleep paralysis, you know, at 16 years old. Who does that, right? How does that happen? You know, and then we're having like things we're starting to see apparitions in my mom's house at the time. A lot of things were happening. So wow. These things kind of put me in those two worlds, but they were kind of mixed in together, right? And me trying to figure out, okay, what is this that's happening, and are they connected? So that's what picked my brain. And of course, this is the strangeness of it all, right? After the years, in my later years, because now I'm in my late 50s, once I started doing the documentaries, the podcasting, the interacting with people, talking with more people that have had contacts and experiences and close contacts, you know, things started happening to me even more, right? So I started having, you know, these triangles form on my leg. That was a piece that was taken out of me last year when I woke up, and after seeing a craft the night before, and during the day, mind you, right? So when these things were happening, and then once when we went to go film in Oregon, witnessing all that, the Cascadia guides being up there on top of that mountain like that, getting pulled in completely at 150%, right? And experiencing what I was standing on, or what I was witnessing, or what I was filming, was something extraordinary, right? Excuse me. And it's something that we're connected, that it says, okay, this is where the connection is. This is how it's connected. We are connected to these things. And and then I started getting more connected to it, right? As time started passing even more. So I started seeing more craft. We were experiencing more during the documentary filming of part 2. We saw it. My son witnessed it right next to me. We saw it. We communicated with it. And see, so things started opening up for me more and more and more, to where I was like, okay, you know, is this supposed to be where my life is going? Am I supposed to tell people about these things? Am I supposed to help people with these things? And I think that's where where these extraterrestrials are pointing the direction in my direction to where they're telling me, this is your job, Donald. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're going to do. You're going to help people understand, right? And we're going to show you things, and you're going to see things, and you're going to witness things to where it's going to make you understand a little bit more as you communicate more with contactees, right? So, and I know I've talked to a lot of people. I know who's pulling my leg, and I know who's not. I could tell. And I don't know if you're intuitive like that too. You know when somebody's kind of giving you a story, and you know who's telling you the truth. I know this. I can see right through people, and that's the hard part about doing what I'm doing, because some people I do want to believe 150%, and there's some people that I don't, because this is why I question how I question. I question you. I question a lot of different people. Ask different questions because your story still connects with other people, right? They have these same kind of experiences, right? But it's a different story and a different timeline with a different person and a different thought process. But this is what brings you guys and brings me and brings all of us all together, in a sense, to help people understand what contact really is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what it was a long answer. I'm sorry, but that's what brought me into this world, and I continue to do it, and I'm still going to continue. I'm not stopping for nothing until, like you said, until God says, okay, no more for you. But at least I have something down to where, even if something does happen to me later in life, you know, we're all going to go there. At least some people can go back and look at these things and just understand, okay, now I know where this guy's coming from, and now I know where they're coming from. That conversation was at, or now I know what that film meant. You know, this is what I'm experiencing, and it's going to help them later, you know, and help them understand. So that's our job. That's our job to do that. You know, it's your job as well, as because you wanted to come on this show and you wanted to tell your story, and I thought it was very important for you to do that. Whether we got to not to do it last year, which is my apologies, but at least we got to get it out now. And I think now was the most important time for you to do it. And the way you did it was perfectly done, because now people can understand you and your art and how it coincides together, how they go together. And it's not just you're not making it up, man. This is coming from something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I even had contact with Daryl Sims. One time I had watched a documentary on somebody was being abducted, and they said there's a black light that you could use to see, because sometimes they leave marks on you.
Yes.
Well, I purchased a black light, and lo and behold, I had... They use like 3 different colors, and it looked like somebody splashed stuff all over my feet, all up and down my leg, in my nose, in my ears, in my eyes. You could see like different colors. I had symbols on my palm of my hands. I could not wash this stuff off.
Right.
It wouldn't come off. So I started getting freaked out by it. And even like at the time I was hanging out with a nurse friend of mine, and she saw exactly what I was showing her. And so it was like there was an electric blue and orange and white. Wow. And like an orange color, orangish pink. So those are the colors that were left on me. So there's something to that. And also, when I spoke to Annabelle, and I showed him some pictures of some of the scoop marks and the puncture wounds that I had, it definitely showed that was them.
Yes.
So, yeah, and he said that I had a lot of that energy on me in my photos as well when I was younger, and also I'd sent photos of my family. They all have it too, right. Which is interesting, because my my grandfather was on the bridge where Mothman was sighted, and my auntie was telling me the story during COVID, and she said that there was some kind of accident and they were all stopped on the bridge, and they were coming home from a revival. They were very, very religious, and she's in the back seat. She fell asleep, and just as she's waking up, they were getting over the bridge, and the bridge collapsed.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather saw it go in the rearview mirror.
Oh, wow.
So that's the story I was telling my stepson when I had missing suspended time. I was telling him about that story, and I turned around. An hour and a half went by, and I was like, what the hell?
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's almost like that Mothman Diaries film, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and my son, when he was like 5 years old, he wouldn't sleep in his room because he saw a big white moth owl. He called it an owl, a 10-foot owl with red eyes. And right after that happened, our town flooded. It was 11 feet under, and there was a couple people that died.
Oh, wow.
So there's some connection with Mothman with my family, too. So...
Well, man, it's all mixed in with you there. So, I mean,
oh, the weirdness.
Yeah, but maybe it's just through the lineage. You know what I mean? Your bloodline. You know, and we know that it follows through generations and generations. So we know that.
Yeah, and people in the service too, as well.
Yep, exactly. So, and I don't know, but why they pick us, I have no idea, or why they pick you, or for special things to see or witness or understand. I don't know, you know, but that's the strangeness of it all. And we always try to, you know, wrap our minds around everything. And we're probably not going to find the answers to everything. No, but at least we can, you know, learn to understand it a little bit more and a little bit better. So, and I just think that's the best thing to do. So where can people find your art?
Very soon it will be up AleeOkan.com, AleeOkan.com. I'll be on TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Red Note.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
Very soon. Probably within the next couple months, I will be all up there.
Nice. Well, I got to see a little bit of a preview, and it's beautiful. So, you know, people are going to really enjoy that website, and I hope people follow you and go check out your work or visit you when you're maybe doing some art shops or something. You know, they can talk to you about, you know, experiences or just your paintings, you know, in general. You know, so because you're good people, and I think people should really know not just the artist, but just who you are as a person as well, you know, and what you've experienced, so they can understand everything. But Alee, thank you for being on the show today. You know,
thank you.
Yes, and thank you for you know, bringing these experiences for everybody out here to hear. You know, I know we jumped around a little bit on the storyline, but it's okay. I believe we were able to get your message across and how to understand these things. And, you know, it's every conversation I have with a guest, it helps me as well, right? Because it helps me understand things a little bit better too. So I hope it helped a lot more people. You got anything else to say to people out there before we close out?
Oh, well, I just wanted to thank everybody for listening, and life is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, I love that song. All right, Alee, thank you for being on the show. Like I said, I'll point everybody your way. Once we get your website going here in a couple of weeks, we'll throw it on there too. And, you know, we'll just get you going and we'll link you up. And I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. And thank you, Alee. We will catch you on the next one. And if anything else comes up on you, and if you want any more experiences you want to talk about, come on back to the show. We'll bring you back on.
Okay, and they can get a hold of me on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll talk to you soon, all right?
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed today's podcast as much as I did. Yes, I did. It was an amazing conversation with Leah. You know, she gave us a lot of great information on the things that happened to her in the past, and I'm glad we were able to talk about it. It's a little lengthy today, but it's okay. It's okay because that's what Alee Strand Podcast is about. It's about getting the information out to you. All right, catch us on 27, 28 platforms of audio: Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Castbox, of course, Amazon Music, Podbean, you name it. Spreaker, we're everywhere. So look for Alee Strand Podcast. Don't forget to click on all my links. You'll see it after this podcast on the description, and also give us a great thumbs up. Follow us on all of our platforms. Please share this podcast. It would help somebody else that you know that might need this help, and it might help you go through something difficult that you've been trying to understand. All right. Until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
Cold glass on the window, moon caught in a crooked frame. I blink and the room folds inward. All the colors forget their names. Hands pinned to the ceiling, my body on the bedroom floor. They pull me through my own reflection, like I've been here before. Take me, black sky carousel turning. Show me every burned out star, every city quietly burning. If this is the future I inherit, late in my open eyes. Take me till all our pretty stories collide. Steel rain over playgrounds, children made of dotted lines, billboards teaching perfect silence, churches selling second lives. I see oceans made of diamonds.
You want to learn about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact? Download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.